we got Stephen from New York who wants to talk to us. So Stephen, you are live on Talk Heathen. What's going on?
First of all, my mouth is a little dry, so please bear with me. But yeah, Satanism is very antagonistic, and I think Christians need more respect.
Christians need more respect from Satanists?
Yeah, Satanists could be very hostile. And also I have an analogy about why Satanism doesn't work.
Okay, well, let's one thing at a time. Why do Satanists need to give more respect to Christians?
I just think it's rather immature if they like wave pentagrams at Christians and kind of harass them. I think it's not. I'm not even a Christian, but I think they deserve more respect.
Well, can you give me an example? Because when are they waving pentagrams in Christian spaces? If there is one, I want to know, but I'm just not aware of that happening.
I mean, I've seen Satanists be really rude to Christians, and I have an example of why it would be rude. For example, I remember you were talking about Resident Evil 4 another day. I like that also. You know, that has like scary Spaniard villagers and the Los Illuminados cult. Just because I like that doesn't mean I would go up to someone who is afraid of ghosts, let's say, and I wouldn't go up to them in a magenta or violet cloak and try to scare them and be disrespectful to them.
I agree. I don't know if this is a thing that's happening in reality, right? Like, okay, so the Satanist organizations that I'm aware of, broadly what they do, and I'm not a Satanist, by the way, so you probably should be complaining to the Satanists and not maybe me and Sophia. But broadly, right, like they are filing lawsuits and they are, putting in claims for just stuff that broadly involves religious freedom. Like I'm trying to think of specific stuff, like when they say that it's going to be after school clubs or whatever, and they want to add religious after school clubs, then they'll be like, okay, we're going to make a Satanist after school club. Or if there's going to be, plaques that honor, have like a cross on, a government property or a school campus, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to make a Satanist plaque, right? And it's just more to make a point, right? It's like to kind of show like, hey, we exist too, and there's other religious groups that exist beyond Christianity, and oftentimes these policies that are supposed to be allegedly for religious freedom are really to further a Christian hegemony, right? To further a Christian agenda. So and politically, that's the kind of actions I see from Satanists. Can they be like pretentious? I mean, that's a matter of opinion, but I don't know of any Satanists that are like going up to Christians' faces with pentagrams or whatever. Like that's not what I'm aware of. Maybe you know of some examples, and I'd love to hear that. But like that's my understanding of like politically what Satanists have been doing in America for a minute.
I think I would also sort of throw in there that it's hard to make these generalizations about a group that is in the dramatic minority. So when we think about Satanist activists, and I'm not a Satanist either, so there might be a Satanist out there like yelling at their screen because whatever I'm going to say is going to be wrong, but I'll do my best. When I think about kind of their activism, it's if they were polite about it sometimes, if people are just like, well, if it's okay with everybody, we would like you to not put the 10 Commandments in the courthouse, things like that. Sometimes I think these dramatic actions are done in order to even have a fighting chance, to even be heard or seen, because I think oftentimes people who have tried polite tactics, who have tried to say, hey, just let me live how I want to live, that hasn't really been met with any response. It's very easy to steamroll someone if they are searching for that consensus. Like interpersonally, I agree with you. Like I think that if somebody disagrees with you and you're just like, I'm gonna be a jerk about it, don't do that. On this show, I respond to things differently than maybe I do in real life. If someone has a faith and they don't want to necessarily discuss it with me, that's not something that I'm going to just venture into. And if it feels like they're just wanting to say what they believe and aren't there for an argument, like that's fine. But when it comes to these questions of rights for other citizens, I kind of get the antagonistic approach, even if it's not one I personally would take.
Yeah. Are they trolling sometimes? A little bit. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
I'll give you that. Sure. But it's like, I don't know. Is it rude though? Like how rude is it? Is it any more rude than putting, like you gave the example, right? 10 Commandments. Is it rude to put a Baphomet statue up? Is it any more rude than having a 10 Commandments statue up? I don't know. That's a matter of opinion, I guess.
I think it takes away serenity because they're pretending to be Satanists. They're not really. They don't really believe in Satan. So it's not a real religion like other religions. With other religions, even though they may need to understand that church and state separation is needed, they're not doing something on purpose to be rude to others. But Satanists are. I think it's basically just a word game. That's basically what it is.
Well, all religion. First of all, let's put a pin in that, okay? Because I don't know if you can tell the Satanists what their religion is or isn't. I think that's up to them. In the same way that, by the way, I pull this both ways. If a Christian, if somebody tells me I don't believe in God and I'm a Christian, I still accept that they're a Christian, right? Because that's their self-identity. So I don't care. I don't give a shit. If that's what they identify, that's what they identify as. But we can point to common denominators there. So yeah, broadly speaking, most Satanists, at least that I know of, don't literally believe in Satan as a figure. That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that their religion's not a religion, right? Because religion is more than just a God belief or a deity belief. It's also ideology, right? And so they fulfill that ideology to a T when they're putting Baphomet statues up. Okay, I don't care if you don't think so. They definitely do. That's definitely part of the religion, and that's what they follow through. So this idea that they don't count because they don't actually believe in a real figure, that's not the point, right? There's a little bit more to it than that, I think.
I would also throw in there that it's a very strange expectation to think that if something doesn't seem like a religion, they should pay homage or respect to something that is a religion in our viewpoint. That's a really bizarre expectation. I mean, they could entirely come out and be like, all of this is fake. We're just doing it for the human rights standpoint. I still don't think that's a reason for them to behave a particular way or to privilege Christianity because they aren't just trolling. I don't see why that would be the case.
Yeah. Generally speaking, it isn't just trolling, right? There's a little bit of trolling. Okay,
yeah, you're right.
They're trolling
I'm just
a little
sort
bit.
of putting it into that.
But there is a bigger point, right? There is a sort of larger sort of ideological framework that they're working under in point that's being made with a lot of these sort of political sort of statements and stunts that a lot of the Satanist groups done. So it's not just for nothing. It's not just to piss people off. But it is a little bit. I think they'd be lying if people were like, yeah, it's kind of fun to piss people off. So I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't work with civility politics, Stephen, if that's your point. So
I would say where there's a will, there's a way. If there's like a problem with church and state separation occurring, then you know they could talk about it instead of acting in this strange way and kind of, you know. Yeah,
I'm going to disagree. Do you know why the reason why evolution is taught in schools is because a teacher made a stink about it, right? Sometimes you have to make a stink about it in order for things to make a change, right? Madeline Murray O'Hair, for example, founder of American Atheists, made a huge stink about a lot of stuff. And she, of course, was notorious for the stink that she made. But if she hadn't made the stink that she made, American Atheists wouldn't be a thing and wouldn't be doing stuff, right? So you kind of have to make a stink sometimes. Yeah, is it pissing people off? Yeah, but it has to be done in order for change to happen sometimes. So I don't know. I disagree with that notion that, well, we all have to play nice all the time. You know, I
think that I've heard a lot of nice people tell me that I shouldn't have access to things like quite a few different kinds of birth control, quite a few different, like there's, I think as a person of the lady persuasion, getting this idea that if you aren't offensive, then people will listen to you. I can tell you that that has never been the case in my entire life. No matter how sweet a gentleman may be, they just don't necessarily understand your experience until you present it to them. And sometimes they're not ready to listen. So making a stink, making a fuss, making it so other people have to see and hear you, sometimes that does become necessary. It's people, you're saying where there's a will, there's a way. Maybe this is the way. And I think the other thing I would say is, great, if you don't believe in that kind of activism, don't do it. But then do it a different way yourself. Like I said, I personally don't attack the people of faith for, unless they want to have some kind of discussion. And even then, I don't think I'm attacking. But I really can't tell people who feel like their rights are at stake not to make a big fuss about it.